Welcome back to my channel, and this video is going to be me creating this look that I have on me now using the new Urban Decay Naked Ultimate Basics eyeshadow palette. This is the newest kind of naked palette from Urban Decay. It has all mattes except for this one here, which is a demi matte. That's what they call it anyway. So if you want to see how I created this look, just keep watching. So bear with me, this is a bit off the cuff. I don't really know what I'm doing for my makeup. I just know, obviously, I want to use the new Urban Decay Naked Ultimate Basics eyeshadow palette. That is a mouthful and a half. I'm going to go with this palette and create something. First of all, I have foundation on. I do my brows and I put primer on. So I'm just going to grab a fluffy brush and dip into the colour Nudie, which is like a creamy neutral colour, I suppose. And I'm just going to set my whole lid with this, hopefully. I haven't really used this palette much. I played around with it yesterday and swatched it, but yeah, I'm very new to it. But I'm just setting everything so that especially when it comes to mattes, they have something to blend into, because they can be a bit of a bitch to blend. So before I get started on actual eyeshadows, I'm going to take some sticky note things and I'm going to place these on the corner of each eye, just so that I don't go crazy with blending and like it ends up halfway down my cheek. So I'm just going to use these as like a marker so that the shadow doesn't go past them. I think I'm going to go in with the shades. I'm going to start off with a neutral colour just to see how I get on. So this is the shade Commando. It's like a really light mauvey colour, this one here. And with the same fluffy brush. And I'm going to apply that in the crease of my eye. Just really lightly. I'm kind of holding the brush near the end. So far, these shadows are pretty gorgeous. They're really soft and pigmented. And they blend really nicely, so far anyway. I wouldn't really be one to do like full matte looks, so I'll see how I get on. I will try, but a bit of shimmer might have to come in. Then I'm taking a fluffier brush but with a tapered end to it. This is from Nima, and I'm going to go in with the shade Faith, which is a warm brown. It's kind of a mid-tone brown. And I'm putting it on the tip of the brush, tapping off, because there is a bit of fallout. And I'm going into the crease with this as well, just a little bit lower down. And again, I'm holding the brush at the end to buff it out so it's as blended as I can get it. So I'm going to go in with a smaller brush again. This is a Louise Young LY38, which is a tapered blending brush, but it's more tightly packed. And I'm going to take the shade Extra Bitter, which is like a warm terracotta shade. Well, it looks like that in the pan anyway. I wouldn't really be one for using really warm tones either, so this is a bit of a risk for me too. Although I know loads of people love warms, but yeah, I just don't always think they suit me. I think they look amazing on blue and grey eyes, even green eyes, but I've kind of hazel eyes, so they don't always look the best, but we'll give it a try. I'm going to go right into the socket with this. So if you don't know where your socket is, kind of lean back and you'll be able to see where your socket bone is. So I'm really just building up a graduation of colour. Obviously you don't need to use that many colours if you don't want to, but it always looks better if you use a couple to kind of blend everything. Kind of looks like it's a gradual blend, but obviously you can just use one colour. And I'm taking this right in to the corner as well. So I'm going from like the inside of my eye right out to the outside of my eye. And without even thinking, I've brought the colour up a little bit higher as well. So I'm going to take the blender brush I used initially and just buff across the edges. I can't help myself. I'm going to use the semi-matte, I would call it like a satin finish, the colour Blow. I'm going to use that as my brow highlight. When I first got this, I thought it was an all matte palette because that's kind of their selling point, but you do get one demi matte shade, as they call it. But I'm okay with it because I like a bit of it shimmery highlight, and it's nothing too crazy. You can just see there's a bit of a sheen off it. And this is the little brush that comes with it. I have a whole blog post on this, so I'll link it down below. It has swatches and close-ups and all. I think I'm going to keep the lid neutral for the minute. I'll see how I feel about that as we go on. But I'm just going to take the 4 shade Nudie again. Well, it's the second shade in the palette, but it's the 4 shade I used. And on the flat brush that comes with it, I'm just going to pack that onto the eyelid. This will just cancel out any pigmentations or veins you might have, which I have a few. And you can use it to kind of clean up the blend in your crease if it came down a little bit too far. So I'm actually going to grab the Louise Young brush I used and the extra bitter shade again, and just put it on the tip and put it in the outside corner too. And then I'm just cleaning off that brush and I'm going to buff around the edges. So you can obviously pull off the sellotape if you want now, but I'm actually going to keep it on while I put a bit of gel liner on. So I'm using the Colourpop, it's a matte brown gel liner in Brouhaha, and this is a new one to me, but I used it yesterday and it was quite nice. So I'm just going to line my upper lash line with this, and I'm probably going to end up tight lining as well with it. And I'm using the tape to wing it out a tiny little bit. The tape is great, it kind of takes the thinking over. This eye is deciding to be jittery today for some reason. So time for the scary bit. You can see you get a crisp edge. This one is a little bit more funky because my eye kept watering, but I can clean it up, it's fine. I'm going to grab a cotton bud and just kind of clean away what I can, but concealer is our friend in this circumstance, so it'll be fine. So now, like without the tape on, I can see it needs a little bit more blending. And then I'm going to take the same gel liner and eye pencil. This is a brown eye pencil from Maybelline, and I'm going to dip it in the gel liner. And I'm going to tight line with it, which isn't nice to watch. Ugh. And I'm going to go in the waterline too. And again, it's okay if it's messy because I'm going to do some shadow under the lash line as well, and I'll be buffing it out a little bit. So I'm going to take my Louise Young brush, which I love. I've had this for so long and it's like new. And I'm going to take some of the colour Faith again. And I'm going to buff some of this under my lash line. Don't poke yourself in the eye. Okay, before I go any further with eyeshadow on the bottom, I'm going to use concealer because my under eyes don't look good and that's making me sad. So I'm going to use the Clarins Instant Concealer. This is in the shade 01. And I'm just going to... I don't like the packaging of this. It's like a squeezy tube. But I do love the concealer. I'm just going to slap some of this on and then take my sponge. This is a Real Technique sponge, which I'm really loving. It's damp, and I'm going to use that to blend in my concealer. This has like a little flat edge on it. It has 2 flat edges, but it has a little one on the top, so it's good for getting under the eyes. Okay, back to the lower lash line. I'm going to take extra bitter with the same Louise Young brush, and I'm going to use some of that just to kind of match both of them up. And then I'm just going to take my Nima blending brush again and just kind of blend around everything. Just try and buff out this harsh line as well, because it's not really working for me. At this point, if things aren't looking perfect, it's perfectly fine. You're never going to get it exactly perfect. And I'm going to add lashes and mascara in that as well, so that'll kind of help balance everything out. So I'm going to quickly give my eyelashes a little curl, just because mine are super straight. I'm going to use the new L'Oreal Volume Million Lashes Fatale. I haven't tried this and it's not waterproof, but I'm just going to use this as kind of my base to put the falsies on top of. It's actually quite a nice mascara. But I'm going to apply these lashes from Sosumi. These are the Decay lashes, and I've used these once before, and I trimmed a couple of bunches off the edge just so they'll fit my eye. So I'm going to apply these with the Duo latex free eyelash glue, which I'm not allergic to latex or anything like that, but it has a brush and I just thought it was easier than the tubes, and it's actually a really good eyelash glue. Give that a couple of seconds to get tacky, and then I'm going to apply it to my eye. What do you do when you're waiting for your eyelash glue to dry? I kind of do an eyelash dance. And then these have kind of already moulded around my eye, so they're pretty easy, I hope, to apply. We shall see. This eyelash glue actually dries super quickly, but I'm just squeezing the falsies with my natural lashes, just so the band is as tight to my natural, it's very hard to talk when you're doing that, just so the band is tight to my natural lash line as possible. So while I'm waiting for the glue to dry, I'm kind of going to go and sort this mug out a little bit. So I'm going to take my Wet n Wild cream contour stick and slap a bit of that on. And just blend it out with my Real Technique sponge. Use my trusty concealer. That's not concealer, but I use it for concealer. It's the MAC Full Coverage Foundation in NC20. And I've had this foundation on for a little while now, so I'm going to apply a good bit of concealer to just kind of wake it up a little bit, because I hadn't set it or anything like that. I put it on and then went down and had some lunch. So I let that set a bit on the face. I know I look scary, but I kind of let it set in, and then it lasts a little bit longer on my skin. So I'm just going to do my bottom lashes while I'm waiting for that, and I'm using my trusty Fairy Drops waterproof mascara, because I know this won't budge. And then just to blend in the top lashes, I'm going to use the same L'Oreal mascara. I'm just kind of, I basically just like smush them in, so push them into the falsies, and I always make sure I kind of get the little lashes on the inside. Then I'm just going to blend out the concealer with my sponge again. I kind of press it into the skin as much as I can, as much as I could be arsed to do, really. Then I'm going to set under my eyes, if I can find, yeah, I'm going to set under my eyes with the banana shade in the NYX contour palette, which the jury is still out on. I don't know if it's okay. That's how I would describe it so far. I'm going to apply some of that yellow shade under to kind of counteract any darkness as much as possible anyway. And I'm just using a light layer of that, because then I'm going to take some, this is the Kryolan translucent powder, and I'm going to take this trusty sponge, which I'm bloody using for everything lately. And this is messy, but I find that it stops my under eye from creasing. It's kind of like, it's like baking, but not leaving it to bake. I just use the translucent powder on the damp sponge and kind of press it into the skin. And I think this kind of like smooths out under the eyes and makes the concealer last longer, I think anyway. For me it does. And I end up setting my face, my whole face, in this manner. and I think it lasts much longer. Must be like a combination of the dampness and the I don't like that word, dampness. The wetness, that's even worse. The wetness and the sponge and the powder. This is a really fine powder. But I'm just going to just start with under the eyes, and then I'm going to grab a powder brush and some bronzer. And I'm just going to warm up my face a bit because it's looking a bit pale because I do have a bit of tan on. So I'm just using the H&M bronzer. My camera died just as I was putting on bronzer, but I basically just put it over the perimeter of my face, and then I'm gonna contour a little bit. I know I already put cream contour on, but just to kind of sandwich the products together, I'm going to use Kevin Aucoin's sculpting powder in medium and a Real Techniques contour brush, and I'm going to use that to kind of give myself something because I have no cheek definition whatsoever. I have chubby chops. Then for blush, I'm going to use the Max Factor Cream Puff blush in Nude Mauve, which is a nice kind of bronzy, it's a subtle kind of bronze nudie shade. But it kind of just adds a bit of colour without like being too over the top or anything like that. Then to set the whole face, I'm just going to go back into my Kryolan translucent powder with my sponge, and I'm just going to press this all over my skin. For highlight, I'm going to go old school and use, Mirror Luminizer by The Balm. Oh, and this is a Real Techniques setting brush. I'm actually going to take a little bit of this and use it in my tear duct as well, because I just love a shiny inner corner. To set it all in place, I'm going to use the L'Oreal Infallible Fix and Rest to give it a good old shake. And I just drench myself in this a good bit away. You don't want to be too close to your face with it, but I usually apply a couple of layers of this because I'm going to have to do my hair and get dressed in that, and then I'll probably add a bit more powder and a bit more of this before I leave the house. For lips, I'm going to go with this. This is a new Colourpop lip liner that I have. It's in the colour Bound. It's like a pinky mauve colour. And then this colour doesn't go, I know, but I'm going to go over it with, this is the Only One Rimmel lipstick in 700 Naughty Nude. So I'm going to use that then on top. And that's the makeup done. My eye is still bothering me though, but like a true makeup addict, I'm gonna grin and bear it. And here's the finished look with the Grug coiffed. Overall, I'm really enjoying that palette. I would recommend it so far. Obviously, I have to play with it a little bit more, but so far, first impressions are really good. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll talk to you in my next one. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.